and then I need to. So give me just a brief second while I get my Twitch stuff, or like my chat stuff set up again. That was fun. So in case you missed the last stream, because I don't know why TikTok was... Oh, we need to mute that. I don't know why TikTok was doing this, but TikTok apparently decided to completely mute, or they nerfed? Is that the right phrasing here? They I'm wondering if I got shadow banned, basically. Um, which I think they might have, but I don't know. So, okay. The reason why is because when I was doing the streams before, I was actually getting viewers and I was getting comments, and which was nice. I like engaging with people. That's kind of the whole point. Um, okay, yeah. See, so I'm getting people again. Like Traden just joined, but on the live stream where I was doing the Okay, hang on. Sorry, hang on. I need to fix this. But when I was doing the VR stuff, it there were no viewers, nothing. Okay, and so good God. See, this is why I have to fucking always why? Why Streamlabs? Why you do this to me? Okay, there we go. Alright, there we go. And then my social media stuff is down there at the bottom, so if you want to follow me on there, you are more than welcome to. Okay, so I'm assuming everything looks good on your guys' end. Okay. Wait a minute. That's not good, because it said the controller was connected, but when I just tried to interact with the game with the controller, I'm gonna have to plug the damn controller in. I didn't want to have to do that. That was the whole point of buying a PlayStation 5 controller, so that I don't have to have of having a wireless controller, is so that I don't have to be wired in. Oh well, it's fine. I'm just bitching because I'm tired. It was fun though. I really enjoy VR. Stoof. Alright, give me just a sec. I have to do the old reach around, plug in the USB-C shit. There it is. Hiya! Okay. Then we grab this, we do that. And then, yeah, there we go. But now I have to Alt-Tab out real quick because I have to make sure that it didn't fuck my audio, because Windows has a very bad habit of whenever I try to do something new audio-wise, it automatically changes. Yep. Every time. Every time it does that. Anyways, so I do have a couple of characters that I can play as. So for right now, actually, and also if you're not familiar with Outriders, just let me know, because I'd be more than happy to explain basic stuff to you. But so I have level 75 is the current cap in Outriders. Apocalypse level is this, which 200 is the current cap. So I have a level 75, which is the max rank, my Pyromancer. I have Heracles, who is a Devastator class. I have Adela, who I'm actually doing over again because at this point, I kind of just redo stuff. Adela is a Technomancer, but she's more of a toxic build. And then I have Trixie, who is a tank build, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous. But I'm gonna be playing as Adela. Adela? Adela? But yeah, so I'm doing Outriders right now, but I might very well later on switch over to Remnant 2. So that's the other factor. If you guys would rather see me play Remnant 2, I am more than happy to just switch over to Remnant 2. Just let me know. weirdly enough, I actually like Outriders more because it's more of a challenge. Remnant 2 has become such a joke that it's not hard, it's not a challenge, and you kind of just curb stomp everything. Which, I still love the game. The game is still really fun. But just, weirdly enough, I keep being drawn back to Remnant. Or to Outriders instead. Yeah. So nobody is playing, so we get to do this solo. Which is annoying, but okay. Okay. So, just real quick to go over my build, and so if you're familiar with Outriders, like, I have 2 Apocalypse items. I have the Scrap Grenade single-shot rifle, a machine gun with Claymore turret and Fortress, and then most of my stuff is Cold Snap, Toxic, and Shield Boosting. If you're not familiar with Outriders, I will explain what those are later. But for right now, it's basically we're just doing stuff to level up. Oh, I actually really like this one. But this is why you have, so if you haven't played Outriders before and you're trying to get into it, I would strongly recommend everybody to go into, focus on one character, figure out who you like, focus on one character until they're like level 60, 70, or until they're a really high level, and then worry about everybody else. Now for the boring stuff. So, every weapon... so blue weapons have 1 mod slot, purples have 2, and then legendaries have sets, and apocalypse tier items can have 3. So this is the main thing with the Bull and Eagle is it's a single shot rifle. Scrap Grenade makes it so that after every reload I shoot a anomaly grenade, and because it's a single shot rifle, every 3 seconds, every shot fires off those grenades, which is very helpful. The Damascus is a light machine gun, an LMG. The idea is that every 2 seconds, I have 4 enemies around a target within 6 meters do get 20,000 damage. Fortress also makes it so that it increases our armor and resistance as shots hit. So my goal is not to do damage with this gun. It kind of is with Claymore, but Fortress lets me survive because I'm very heavily, I lean towards powers. So this makes it so that my poison rounds do more damage. Cold Snap, which freezes everybody, is 50% wider AoE. And then charged up, so when I'm aiming down my sights, there's an explosive damage, so it just boosts damage a little bit more. Icicle Storm, this is actually the most powerful thing for us because when an enemy dies, they explode, and that's stacks. So if there's hordes of smaller enemies, they will all explode. So you can one-shot bosses with that. Perseverance Shield, so when our health gets too low, not only do we get shield, so basically it gives you a health shield. Then I have this one, which makes it so when we do have a shield, we do lightning damage to everything around us. And then also we get Golem, so we get another defensive power, and this gives us more toxic damage. So, what that looks like in practice. Oh, I guess I should have talked about what our powers are too. Sorry about. Oh, I need to turn on chat for Twitch. So, our first power is that we can summon down an icicle turret that will freeze enemies. Now, every time I inflict freeze on an enemy, they will get an extra bonus effect. So that was the anomaly grenade. Okay, so those shots doing explosions, that's me aiming down the sight, or the scope. So as you can see, that's the normal shot. That is the scrap grenade. And then that's the aim down the sight to do damage. The claymores is that little blade that came with it. Oh, good. And so now we increase resistance pierce because that will make our toxic stuff do more damage. I swear I'm being shadow banned because we have 16 people join, so we have more people join, and then just all the viewers just immediately stopped. Those are the lightning claymores, though. Technomancer is a little bit different because the way that this works is that if you're doing damage to an enemy, no matter where, how, when, where, why, you get help for that. And then there's also like a whole skill tree and stuff like that that I'm not worried about. Like, if I'm being shadow banned, like, if I'm being banned for something, that's fine, but, like, they need to tell me what I did. I mean, it's TikTok, so they're not going to, but... Honestly, it's actually kind of bad having the Apocalypse items, though, because we don't have enough of the resources to be able to level them easily. So yeah, and I'll show you guys, like, my secret on how you get leveling up, like, why you want to have, like, one super high level before you worry about anything else, because it makes leveling your other units so much easier. Even if you get to 50 and then starts focusing on other stuff like that, that helps too. There. Focus on the ironclads.
Any ideas why?
They're insurgents, so reasons range from a spot of the munchies to extreme loneliness. I just need that facility cleared.
I think they're up to something, Outrider.
But yeah, like I said, this character, I don't tend to build based off of the meta. I tend to use, like, just like my basic stuff. I use what I have fun playing. And this build is it's something I enjoy, just because it works for everybody. Like, I can freeze enemies, I make my allies do more damage, and heaven forbid if an enemy is too strong, where I'm not doing a whole lot of damage, like, my poison is still hitting, like, everything nearby, so I'm still doing something, like, I'm still contributing even if I'm not doing, like, the most damage. And then on top of that, I'm also, like, able to heal allies. Oh yeah, and we do more damage the more status effect enemies have. See, I got 16 viewers and then it instantly shut off. More than I was getting before, but I just don't get what the hell's happening.
You think those bodies are food for those creatures? The insurgents were keeping them alive?
Maybe. I doubt it, though. So this is where this character really shines. Kill one, and then the shatter stream. That's what killed everything else. This is what I was saying about being able to one-shot enemies. Look at how much damage that did. That's a good amount of damage. And because poison hits everything in the room, that gives us way more health. That is weird, though. I don't know what's going on with TikTok. Well, I filed a report, so hopefully that'll do something, but I assume it's not doing anything.
Ugh, smells like a sewer. There a way across?
Most likely. Well, you'll have to wade your way through the bullshit.
Yeah, we know the feeling.
Oh yeah, she's paralyzed from the waist down.
I don't see how, ex-marshal, when your legs don't work, you would just float on top of the bullshit like a log.
Both. Clear the damn radiator.
Yeah, we're the professional. Okay. That's the thing, like, similar to, like, most of the things that we end up encountering in this, in, like, MMOs, or, not MMOs, like, looter shooters, a lot of what the enemies do, it's not a threat. It's not a danger. It's just annoying to deal with. Like that, the vortex thing. The AI almost never uses it in a way that harms the player. Almost never. Like, see, it just... So we take 2 seconds, come back up here, and then we shoot them some more. Like, what did that do other than waste my time? And to be fair, there are situations, sometimes, where the AI will actually grab you and will pull you into a group of enemies, but almost always they're sending you away from where, like, you're trying to fight the enemies. Not a big deal, but it is minorly irritating. So the Marshall's Complex actually has a secret.
Nice.
To activate it, you have to
Let's find
activate
out.
this before you progress onwards. So it shot some sort of a lightning gun and then exploded the...
The Alta Strike is right behind us! Get out of here now!
Youngsters wants our toys and the pod. Let's feed them to the target practice instead. Let it up, Jimmy!
Target practice is fancy. That's idiots.
Ta-da! Actually, yeah, see right there. Just how everything got wiped. That was because when they exploded, each individual enemy that took damage took 20,000 damage. But yeah, you guys can see after. Because at the end of each mission, it'll actually show like what's doing the most amount of damage. Just gotta aim a little bit higher. And then the whole idea behind, so the ascension tier goes up as we kill enemies, and then the apocalypse tier does the same, provided we don't die. Oh, did they finally fix that? It used to be when you had stuff that you threw onto the floor, it would actually detonate under the floor. And so, like, certain things like turrets would go through. It's interesting. So they must have fixed it. Go.
He's clear. Insurgents had a fancy new toy they were testing on the creatures.
Outrider detected.
Sure you didn't know.
Access
that,
granted.
Morgan.
Good work, my friend. Could you bring it all back? Oh, and offer remains on the table. Second
And so, if you've activated the lightning gun,
Guy's been
you
playing the
can
brass
look
out of
back
his ass
there,
for
but
long enough.
once you've activated
Happy
the
to be
lightning
on your
gun,
team,
you want to come
Outrider.
back here, and the door will pop eventually. But if you had a teammate who ran past the lightning gun before it was activated, this door will not open. You have to activate the lightning cutscene. And ta-da! So people can fly. So this is actually the game studio. They added People Can Fly actually added 3 separate maps with like special little secrets with 3 items in them. So like you always get the rune or buzzard here, which is a cool little like cosmetic thing. Oh, it's completely locked in. He's... Oh, I thought he was sleeping. And what are you doing? Oh, they're hard at work. Alright, thank you guys. So if you're playing with a teammate, ideally what you want to do is go activate back there. Or pop open the pod, had one person go over there so that they can open the chest, and then have the one other person back here, because you'll automatically pick up any loot anyways. And so that way, once you see that they've gotten their Ruiner Buzzard, you can just warp out again. But if you've already gotten it once, you have the skin for it, so you don't need the skins. So we did 18 million damage that mission. And so the factor that we want to look at is damage. So as you can see, Toxic did the most amount of damage out of everything. Then Claymore, which is the swords that come down, but then the Icicle Storm did the next most damage at 3.2 million. And Icicle Storm is the one that causes enemies to explode in a group. So, that's awesome. And then we... Ugh, sorry. Okay, so the thing that I was saying about leveling up is this, the Anomaly Extract, which you only get from Apocalypse items. It says from Elites, but I've never seen it drop from Elites. But, so, do you see how these are 50%? So if you have an item that only increases by percentages, that won't go up as you level up the gear, so it kind of doesn't matter. Now, when they explode, though, and it does a set amount, that's the one where you want to level those because it actually does go up per level. It's not just a percentage thing. Because I'm actually going to completely change my loadout anyways. Come about level 50, I think it's 55. Yeah, there we go. And then the other thing that we need to do is we need to disassemble everything. Okay. Oh, should go over powers too. So we have a whole bunch of different powers, and actually we're going to be getting rid of the blighted rounds here in a bit. So the cryo turret is super good because what this does is it allows us to bypass, well, okay, hang on. So first of all, we're going to cover the skills. So first and foremost, the PAX points. So this is done by completing the DLC, the World Slayer DLC that was released, and then as you complete the campaign, you get... It doesn't take long to do. It takes like 3-4 hours. You get 5 points total. So in my case, I went along the route. So, increases anomaly or firepower, which I don't care about, but this is important. So, ordnance or gadget, so our icicle turret, Mr. Fix-It, the healing wave, and cold snap deal toxic. So not only do they freeze, but they also do toxic, and they do more damage. Damaging an enemy grants you 2% health regeneration for 3 seconds, and it stacks twice. Then, toxic also has a 100% chance to do another random status effect, and then we do 5% more damage to enemies for every status. So we're basically just a status effect monstrosity. Which is interesting, because as you can see, I went all over the fucking place with this skill tree. Again, there's a reason for this. So if we look at this, we go anomalous body, skill gadget, but the idea that I was going for is that when we inflict toxic, we also inflict vulnerable. So every time we hit an enemy with toxic damage, it is making them take 40% more effective, so they're more easily damaged. But I came over, so I wanted to grab that and that. Then I wanted to come up here, so health regeneration is increased, which is nice. But toxic lasts 30% longer, and enemies with toxic take 10% more damage. So that's just in addition to vulnerable. Then with this, the main thing that was health increase and reduce gadget cooldown. That's the big one. But freeze effect afflicts enemies last longer. That's the other big thing. Then I jumped down to grab this, because on the bottom of this skill tree are these. So toxic lasts 30% longer. 30%. Oh, increase toxic damage by 20%, and then increase my resistance piercing by 15%. Now, the reason why I have that is because, remember that toxic piercer? So the effectiveness of toxic is increased by 16%, equal to 100% of your resistance piercing. So the higher our resistance piercing gets, the more damage we're able to do with toxic. Now, so our cryo turret does damage, but it also inflicts poison, remember. Blighted rounds inflicts toxic, and then there's also, it kind of spreads out a little bit too. But because I don't do damage very well, it's kind of a meh thing. Because, like, guns are not how I do damage. Then, Cold Snap freezes all enemies around us in a large wave, but it also poisons them. However, we're going to get rid of the Blighted Rounds for fixing Wave, because that creates a pulse. There's a mod for it that creates a pulse around us that also inflicts heavy toxic. And the reason why we're doing such a big toxic... Excuse me. The reason we're doing such a big toxic focus thing is because when we're doing the game, the idea that we want to do is that
There's a matter that
we want to set it up so that sorry, I got distracted. I don't know why I got distracted, but I got distracted. Yeah, but the idea is like, I do this build because I'm the bane of the existence of everything I come across, and even if I can't kill enemies at higher tiers by myself, which you can if I'm solo, solo this build is a monster to deal with. But if I really wanted to, I could absolutely, I can help allies by either damaging enemies, or I could also, not only do I help allies by just doing damage to enemies, but I make them I make the enemies more damageable by allies. And then I'm also just doing DOT, so even though I'm not directly hitting the enemy, I'm still doing damage. See, I hate that. The one thing I hate about those guys is if they start meleeing you, they will just start fucking you. It's bad. Fortress gives me that little bit of extra survivability. But generally, like I said, I don't do optimal builds. I tend to play how I want to play to have fun. So a good way to tell if you have a good build and you're not sure is if you're going up against enemies. So these are level 40 points. Even with some of my gear, 2 pieces of it being really low, the fact that I'm pretty easily able to, even with bosses, hold my own, that's a good sign that I'm know that I have a decent. And I know I'm getting fucked up right now. If you are able to fight your own level of enemies, so if you are level 41 and you're able to kill enemies at 41, you're doing fine. Because there's no guarantee you're actually going to be able to play with other people. So just being able to fight like on your own, you'll do fine. Enemies just have more health, so as long as you're not dying, even if it takes a little bit, you should be okay.
This must be the Colosseum.
Come to think of it, we're going to switch our weapons around too. That's the other factor too. If you're in a group and like one of you guys goes down, it's not a huge deal. However, if you're playing solo and you go down, you automatically fail. You can always like you get 3 chances to continue, but you do fail. Yeah, and I almost guarantee, like, TikTok is doing something to shut down the stream, because there were 16 viewers in the space of, like, a minute, and then it shut down. Like, there are no more viewers, there's nothing else going on. Something TikTok is doing is not okay. Like, something TikTok is doing is not good. Okay, I'm gonna check something real quick. Okay.
What a bunch of clowns.
So I'm wondering if TikTok is getting pissy because I added the chat, like my social media stuff. I wonder if that's why it's angry. Ideally, I want to get to the point that Toxic is just going to kill everything, but automatically, it kind of does. so high at this point. Yeah, I'll bet you it's the social media thing.
Creatures. Did that feral maniac capture them for sport?
It's a banana.
I think that's the last of the monsters, but that maniac isn't too happy about it. Here we go.
Okay, so for this next part, we want to run over here. We want to do this because a boss is going to spawn. Actually, a boss spawned over here. There he is. There we go. So yeah, that was getting a little bit close, but the main issue there is I just don't have access to the specific armor set that I usually wear, and we won't have access to it until like I don't know why they made it so like some armors just don't show up until later, but I think because it was added to World Slayer. Okay, here we go. And then, so now we're gonna have a whole bunch of the little guys show up. And then we're also... Given that all of our ammo is gonna split anyways, oh yeah, did you see that? 80,000 damage. Then Tiago shoots the diaper.
Not a bad shot. Maybe
Diaper
he'll
wearing
finally
freak.
shut up now. The pot is ours.
I'm gonna try to remove the social media thing and see if that fixes it. Because I think that's exactly what it is. Is TikTok is just being... Twitch doesn't care. And I don't think YouTube cares, but apparently TikTok gets pissy when you start advertising other video
Outriders
places.
detected. Access granted.
Which I guess that makes sense, but yeah. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Is so while this is loading, I'm going to get rid of these. So basically, I'm going to hide them from view. Okay, so they are hidden. So we'll see if the views pick up, but I'm certain they're not going to. Now that they are no longer visible. Okay, but I am going to go ahead and yeah, because that's